Studies show that people who are attached to things and to people have a sense of belief that they are happy, but in actual sense they are depressed, they are anxious, and they live in fear of that thing going away, in fear of what will happen next, in fear. And if when you obsess so much on things, you tend to forget that nothing is forever. You tend to forget that things don't last forever. Everything in this life is on borrowed time. You know, everything in life is bound to go. When you're vibrating energy, is not from you. You are vibrating on someone else's frequency. The biggest insanity in life is doing something over and over again, expecting a different result. Proving yourself to someone over and over again, expecting that they will love you one time. Thinking if you possess yourself or obsess yourself about a certain piece of work, you will achieve different results. You attach yourself to something like though you own it. You forget that anything and everything on this earth is not permanent. You own nothing. Everything you have is on borrowed time. Anything you attach yourself to is on borrowed time. At one point, it's bound to go. At one point, it's bound to live. Here comes the attachment theory and how to detach. In this video, I'm going to tell you more about attachment theory. I'm going to teach you how you can detach, and I'm going to explain some of the things that have happened to me, that I've attached myself, that you can also use to detach yourself. When it comes to attachment theory, it's best on let them. But for me, based on the research that I've done or based on my own experience, I always say this: ask yourself one question. Does my attachment to this thing, does my attachment to these people make me happy? Do I feel like a great person? Do I feel like a powerful person? Do I feel like I own myself, I own my mind, I own my emotions when I attach myself to these people? After you've asked yourself that question, think about your actions. Do you feel sad when you don't get the reply back from those people? How does that make you feel? Do you find yourself anxious? Do you find yourself at the point whereby you really want to say something because of how you feel? The thought of not hearing from that person, the thought of not having that thing, the thought of you not being around those people makes you scared and fearful. If the answer is yes, this video is perfect for you. In 1907, a British psychiatrist named John Bowley was the first attachment theorist. He described attachment as a lasting psychological connectedness between human beings. We all need some kind of closeness to a caregiver, which makes us either secure, anxious, avoidant, or disorganized. Attachment in itself is not a bad thing. We all are attached to something. We all have that feeling that something belongs to us and us only. He also goes ahead to explain that people are born with the urge to forge bonds with people that they have created a relationship with. That mainly starts as children, because as children we have the need to create that security, that safety within the people that are caregivers. And our caregivers don't have to be our mothers, they don't have to be our fathers. Sometimes a caregiver could be somebody else, could be a teacher, and the attachment towards that person, creates that sort of safety, avoidance, or maybe a disorganized state, depending on what the caregiver gives the child. We have explained that attachment can be good. Emotions are good. I'm not saying neglect your emotions or how you feel or how much you want something. The problem starts when you're vibrating energy is not from you. You are vibrating on someone else's frequency. You are generating your strength from someone else's emotions. Someone else's happiness becomes your happiness. You vibrate on their behavior. Your vibration is dependent on whether you receive that text message, you receive that compliment. You are so much in tune with how they feel. If you don't get whatever you have to get out of that person, or you don't get that reassurance, that is the end. The anxiety kicks in, the fear kicks in, and all the voices in your mind keep giving you solutions that are never positive, that are always negative, that always push you down and down the drain. you ask yourself this question: how do I know that I'm attached? You are attached when your life is dependent on someone else, something else, because attachment is not just for human beings. It can be attached to particular things. You can be attached to drugs or to drinking or stuff like that. You may ask yourself, how can you be attached to that without being addicted? Because a form of addiction is also a form of an attachment, in my own theory and how I think about it. But when you feel like you're dependent on that particular thing, that is a form of attachment, because you're looking for some kind of security, you're looking for some kind of answer, warmness, or some kind of reply from that particular thing, or some kind of fulfillment or happiness. If you're dependent on that particular thing or that particular person, that's when you know that you do have an attachment towards it. As human beings, we are dependent. We live on dependency. You cannot say that you're an independent person. Yes, we are independent with our thoughts and everything, but we depend on other people. We depend on things that we have around us. We depend on friends. We depend on family. We depend on people in our environment, a community. We are people who are born and bred to depend on other things, but not dependency that your whole lifehood depends on that or depends on that particular thing or those people. No, that's a different kind of dependency. When you realize that the abundance of life is with you, when you realize that you are an abundant joy of life, love flows from you. You know, people have their own purpose, people have their own life, and you depending on someone else's life means that you're living in the lens of their life, being attached to people or friends and thinking that in hopes one day they're gonna love you. No matter how much you do, they are never gonna love you. No matter how much you obsess and attach yourself to that thing, it's never gonna give you happiness. The happiness that it will give you will be a temporary smile, but what you need is the joy of feeling that you are your own person. And if you start depending on someone else, you forget about what self-love is. You don't love yourself when you start attaching yourself to other people. Your love is gone. Your love is being controlled. You have to remember that you as a human being, you absorb a ray of love. You are love. You are happiness. But the most important thing is that when you detach yourself away from that thing, when you detach yourself away from those people, the power and the freedom that you have is so big and powerful. You cannot find the solution to the problem when you're in the problem. You need to step out of the problem for you to find the solution to the problem. So in that way, you have to detach yourself from that thing in order for you to understand what kind of attachment you've had towards them. Sometimes you don't understand that you have an attachment issue because you're so consumed in that thing being part of your life. You're so consumed of that thing being part of you. And you are so attached to it that the decline of it, the absence of it affects you and affects everything around you. The most place that we attach to is relationships and friends, human beings in general, you know. And as people, we attach ourselves so much sometimes in relationships that if that guy doesn't send you a text, if he doesn't talk to you, if he doesn't reply back to you, then you have a problem with it. Then there is an issue with it. Even with friends. But then you forget that your own life is only lived by you. It's not lived by anybody else. It all starts with you and it ends with you. The greatest freedom in life is to know that you control your own thoughts, you control your own happiness. You are already a happy person, but you just need to find the happiness within yourself. You're already a beautiful and wonderful person. You don't need a compliment from somebody else. You don't need a reassurance from somebody else because it doesn't help. Studies show that people who are attached to things and to people have a sense of belief that they are happy, but in actual sense they are depressed, they are anxious, and they live in fear of that thing going away, in fear of what will happen next, in fear and too much anxiety of what could go wrong in that particular thing. But I'm here to show you steps in which you can detach one by one. The first step is going to be awareness. You need to recognize and acknowledge the attachment that you have in your life. This is going to include material possessions, relationships, friends, anything around you. You know, some of us have FOMO. We have the fear of missing out. And the fear of missing out, you have this thing that if I don't do this, if I don't get on this band, if I don't create this kind of way and lifestyle, then I am going to be missing out on something. But you can't miss out on what you do not know. So don't involve yourself in things if you do not have a tolerance level that you can sort of tolerate it. Same with social media. The greatest FOMO when it comes to social media, everybody is on social media trying to figure out the next big thing, what to do next, what to have next. I haven't been on Instagram for the last 3 months, so I do not have the fear of missing out, the fear of what's the new trending item that I need to buy, what's the new, red is the new color, what are we wearing now, it's Valentine's Day, it's Mother's Day, it's this and that, what am I going to be wearing, what's the latest thing, what coffee shop are people going to, what new concert is happening, where are people being invited for all these things. I don't have that fear again, that anxiety again. I was feeling so low about myself in terms of like, why am I not invited here, why am I not like this girl, why am I not part of this girl is more heavier than me, but she's dressing better and she's doing, how is she doing it, am I doing something wrong, or this girl is more slimmer than me, how is she possibly doing this and that. So, and sometimes with that, and also the fear of missing out on the latest trending thing, got me really anxious, because I was so attached on Instagram, so attached on what is next, what's the latest thing, that I scrolled my phone more than 2,672 times that they say that you scroll on your phone. I think personally I was scrolling 4,000 times every 24 hours, because when I wake up, the first thing I do is to check Instagram. I'm checking Instagram to see if my post has been like, how good it has been going, the reels, the trending things, what to do next. And it was just so much, just like it has felt so much pouring that out to you. That's how much it felt to me. So you need to understand what your attachment is. Mine was Instagram. I always thought I would never live my life without being on Instagram. The moment I leave, people will go. Trust me, I still have the same numbers 3 months later. People are still on there and life moves on. The next one is acceptance. You need to accept that attachment is part of life. It's a natural thing of life. It's a good human experience, but it can as well also lead to suffering when things don't go to plan. Accept change. Accept that change is inevitable, and clinging on to things like they will never go away is not going to help you. If you can't control something, do not obsess about it. If it's beyond your control, just let it be. Point number 3 is practice the art of letting go. Now, this is the most hard thing and the most difficult thing to do. It's easy to be aware, it's easy to accept, but the point of letting go is the actual practical detachment. Now, this part here is something that I say, take it in a very sensitive way. Some people are so attached that it can make them to even lose their lives because of attachment. So it's a very sensitive area. You need to cultivate the awareness that these attachments are no longer serving you. These attachments are not building your life. They are not elevating you. They are not getting you from one level to another. They are putting you down. They are demotivating you. They are putting you in a cage. You don't have power. They don't belong to you. If you understand all the negative things about it, you can start releasing yourself and letting go. Start by decluttering your physical space. Start by not thinking about that phone call. Turn your phone off. Start by taking yourself out to things like having a walk, buying yourself something amazing, and looking nice for yourself. Get things that take your mind off that thing that you're so obsessed with and you're so attached to, and trust and believe that can help. Focus on the present. Dwelling on the past, focusing on the future does not help. Focus on the present moment right now. By shifting your attention to what is happening right now, it's easy for you to detach yourself away from the things that have happened before or the things that are yet to happen in the future. Because it allows you to detach yourself from anxieties and regrets, because anxiety is something that hasn't yet happened, You're anxious about something in the future, and regrets, you're worried about something that happened in your past. So by focusing on now, it will give you more greater joy and it will keep you in the present. You underestimate small things like being in the present. When you're having a conversation with someone, talk to them, speak with them, look at them, engage in the conversation, try active things, be active, do all those kind of things that will help you detach. Sitting in the corner and putting yourself away and, feeling sorry for yourself and trying to do more and more for yourself doesn't really help you if you're trying to detach. It actually makes it worse. Embrace the impermanency of life. Understand that everything in life is impermanent, including your thoughts, including your emotions and circumstances. Embracing impermanence helps you detach away from all those thoughts that control you, all those emotions that literally control you, and help you find freedom in every existing type of thing in life. When you obsess so much on things, you tend to forget that nothing is forever. you tend to forget that things don't last forever. Everything in this life is on borrowed time. You know, everything in life is bound to go. So create an environment whereby you know, okay, these people are here in my life for purpose. These things are here in my life to serve a purpose for the time I'm living on earth and for the time they will exist on this earth. Because when you attach yourself to something that you own, that thing belongs to you, at the end of the day, the happiness, you know, is dependent on what they say. And you're not born in this world for someone else to dictate when you should be happy, when you should smile, and when you should feel full with your own self. Detachment is a very difficult thing, but when you start detaching yourself from things, freedom starts, happiness starts. A lot of things start coming in your life. You create room for things to come. When you attach yourself to things, you're blinded. You're blinded so much that you don't understand how it feels like without that thing. You don't understand the freedom that it gives you without you having that thing. So if you're someone who is attached and who is struggling with detachment, watch this video, and I'm telling you, this is going to help you. Just listen to this video when you're walking or doing anything, and you know, cleaning your kitchen, doing all that kind of thing, having a cup of tea, maybe even reading a book. Who knows, maybe you're that kind of person. But try as much as you can to remember that nothing lasts in life. Nothing is here for forever. So attaching yourself to that thing, at some point it's going to go. That's the reality of life. It will go one day. You have to create a room in which is healthy, that you don't obsess about it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. My name is Akao. I hope that this video really helped you. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I shall see you in the next one. Bye bye.